Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everybody. It's me, Sarah Hassanin from IELTS with Sarah. I hope you're all doing great today. I have some tips for you today related to writing a conclusion in your essay. And as you know, writing a conclusion is the last step of writing a full essay, right? In your exam, you're supposed to write an introduction and then body paragraphs, then a conclusion at last. And when it comes to writing a conclusion, you have to care about writing it effectively. Okay, as much as you care about writing your introduction and body paragraphs, you need also to pay attention to writing an effective conclusion, guys. And in your exam, even if you're running out of time and you have too little time remaining, imagine that you have to leave everything and go and rush even to write a conclusion, because you're not supposed to submit your paper without a conclusion. If you do this, then the score is not going to be above 6. Imagine if you submit your paper without a conclusion. So your conclusion is as important as the rest of your essay, for sure. So for now, I just let you know about the most common errors that I often see while marking assignments. And I guess once you know about the mistakes of others, so you start learning, right? And you start learning from what others do, I believe, then you start avoiding such mistakes and having an effective conclusion at the end of the day, right? So number one error you have to avoid is that you have to avoid making your conclusion too much general, right? I mean, for example, if the essay does talk about some does talk about maybe the advantages and disadvantages to taking a year off, let's say. Some students write their conclusion in that way. They tell, in conclusion, there are some advantages and disadvantages to having a year off, full stop. Okay, that's it. But that's too much general. As you can see, that's a fatal error. You need to give them specifically, right? You need to tell to the examiner or to the reader what the advantages are and what the disadvantages are. So what's better is to make it more specific, for sure. Mention the two advantages that you have already mentioned throughout your essay, for sure, in detail, and mention your two disadvantages that you have already mentioned in your body paragraph. So give them here, give the main ideas. You're not supposed to give details, for sure. No, give only the main points, the main ideas that you have mentioned throughout your essay. This is what you call it a summary. Okay, that's a summary of the points that you have mentioned throughout the essay, the one that is like there, should be there in your conclusion, is summary of all the points. So I'll try to make it more specific so I can tell, in conclusion, despite maybe the advantages or the positives or whatever the way you will tell it, merits, anything, in terms of traveling and walking. So you see, I've told about my two positives, traveling and working. Taking a year off has some drawbacks, including what and what. Mention them specifically as well. Maybe you tell about jeopardizing, okay, jeopardizing students' occupational opportunities, and maybe causing studying discouragement. Because you know, sometimes when you take a year off, then you start going back to college life, so you start having some discouragement. You don't want to go anymore, right? You don't want to return studying again and again. So that's your conclusion with specific details of my advantages and disadvantages as well. Number two error that I have to avoid is that you have to avoid making your conclusion without a position, or with a position that is unclear, let's say. So if your essay does ask you about your opinion, so you must give your opinion again in your conclusion in a clear way, right? And when I tell in a clear way, I mean tell something like I believe, or it seems to me, or from my perspective. I mean, give your opinion in a clear way. Don't just give it something like it's believed that something, or it's claimed. No, please remember that that's an IELTS essay. It's not an essay for your college and or for your university, so you make it ambiguous, writing it's believed or it's claimed. No, 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 it's a totally different story here. It's an IELTS essay, and in essays you need to clarify and give your opinion in a clear way, right? Using I or my, or just showing that it's out of your own point of view, right? And then number three here is that you need to avoid adding any new ideas. You're not supposed to give any new ideas. You just need only to summarize the point that have been discussed above, nothing else. And even some students go for adding future possibilities, or they even add a recommendation that they recommend so and so, which is number four here. Doing this, I'm not gonna tell that that's absolutely wrong, but doing this does not add any value, and sometimes even it's risky to go for something like this, because when doing this sometimes it ends up adding a new idea. So you need to be pretty much sure that you're not adding a new idea. And it's optional even to add a recommendation or a future possibility. So I guess as long as it's optional and it's risky even to do it, so it's better to avoid it, to to guarantee having an effective conclusion. So your conclusion does need a specific summary and your opinion if required. A clear opinion must be given if required, okay, in your essay. That's all for this video. Hopefully that you found it easy and helpful. Okay, if you found it useful, please remember to share and like to just encourage me to do more videos in the future. Thank you so much, guys. Goodbye.